Yo, what's up YouTube? Firefist Chris here. And today, guys, I was actually planning on already uploading a deck profile on my law list in OP-04. Obviously, we got a big change to the meta now that we have a ban list coming out November 10th, or effective November 10th. But they did go ahead and ban the Searcher Nami, Don Don, the Leader Whitebeard, and then they limited the 5-cost Marco. I do not agree with a lot of those hits. I do agree that Don Don deserved the hit, as well as Whitebeard the Leader. Maybe they just didn't want to deal with taking out so much from the deck to be able to balance that deck, as opposed to just banning the problem, which is the Leader. But I just think that the way this format's going to go, it's definitely going to be heavily favored towards yellow, Gurple Dofi, blue, Queen, and just in general, the meta is going to slow down a lot, which is going to be beneficial to decks like Nami, Katakuri, Big Mom, and things of that sort as well. So I'll just go straight into the deck profile and just kind of talk on how we move forward from Law. This is my favorite character in the show, as well as this is the first leader I picked up in the game when I first started in OP-01. And, it just kind of does suck because you got to change a lot with the deck. It's not going to be, played the same. You can't shambles as early. And then you got to decide which engine you're going to be running. So just going ahead and I'm just going to kind of speed run through this deck profile. For Nami, obviously it's going to get hit. Well, it's already hit. It's going to be banned. So you're going to have to remove this from the deck. 3 Namis, 4 Choppers, 4 Otama. And then one thing about Choppers, now this is definitely going to suck not being able to search this with either Nami or Don Don. So it's just going to be very crucial getting your blockers, and as well as when you play your blockers, you can't just easily play them and then just kind of know like, okay, I always have Nami and Don Don searches I can recycle with Law and on play effects and just kind of continue getting pluses that way. You're just going to have to play this deck a lot differently. 4 Jewelry Bonnie, 3 Bages. This might honestly get bumped up now just because it is searchable with Bonnie, and you need to be able to get your blockers, essentially. 3 of the Brooks. Obviously it's just a great card. 4 Don Don. Of course, now this deck is, this card is banned, so it really does limit you on your plays and kind of what your turns will look like, or what you want to sort of mulligan for this deck. So we'll see how that goes. Next, of course, we have 4 of the Sanji, 2 Vistas. I am running Vista over Robin. Especially now, I think that I'm probably going to prefer playing the Whitebeard over the Wano package, because you want to play more red cards as opposed to running more green characters, just because you need to be able to shambles into your blocker Law, which is very important in the deck, obviously, in your restand Law. So in general, I think that Vista was already better than Nico Robin. This card just, it just helps in a lot of matchups. Being able to just clear stuff, especially against like Gurple Dofi, just pop the sugar, you don't have to deal with it. Next, I run 1 of the starter deck Zoro. I run 3 of the Rush Zoro. Then, of course, I run 4 of the blocker Laws. I run 4 of the restand Laws, 2 Luffy's, and 1 Radical Beam. And that was my list for OP-04 initially that I've been playing. Just, obviously it's a very solid deck. There's nothing to really say about this deck. It's just very consistent. It's good at what it does. And you have kind of great matchups all around. Now with this deck, where I think we should be moving forward to, I kind of just pulled up a whole bunch of cards I think that might be useful in the deck moving forward. So obviously replacing Nami, you would just throw in maybe the Izo engine and be able to have the Whitebeard Pirates. Now, this is good or bad for a lot of things, just because you don't really want to change your deck too much, and then you want to have enough targets to where this doesn't necessarily whiff. So it's kind of an issue, or kind of a delicate balance between the two now. Another card might be useful looking at is the 1-drop Thatch. You need a lot of 1-drops. This card isn't bad. Being able to just go ahead and play this out, use the effect, gain 2,000, give it a Don, swing for 5, and then bounce this back to your hand before it trashes itself at the end of the turn. So this is something that I think that's going to be really good. Witty Bay is another one. I'm just pulling out cards here now, but this is another one you can go ahead and run. It's a 1-drop. For the blockers that are searchable, you could just throw in the Fossa, searchable by Ezo. Another good card is Blamenko. Being able to, this kind of be your kind of attacker now, as opposed to Don. Play this, you can attack, minus something by 2000, clear something on the board, or even in combination with Otama, this does kind of help. So there is some synergy with this card. Another card is Haruta. Haruta is honestly similar to just the starter deck Nami, but you do need the red cards, so, and it is also searchable by the Ezo. So this is kind of why I'm thinking about running this card. Another great card would be Bartholomew. So this card is actually searchable by Bonnie. It has a 1k counter. It's a blocker. It could become a big blocker as well if you add to Don. Probably never going to use that second effect, but searchable blocker. Then just throwing in more Vistas just because it is searchable now. So I kind of do like that aspect. Maybe just throwing in one more. Canal Run also, if you do go the full Whitebeard package, just throw in the blocker Marco. It's a consistent card that you can just pitch a card and save it, as well as save stuff on your board. So I do like this card. And then for the last card, this is just in general, just cards, there's just theories I'm throwing out there. Is this card. I don't really enjoy this card or think this card is that good in the deck, just because it doesn't give you a body on board and you're just kind of using a Don to search a piece, which isn't bad. But you know, you're just going to miss Nami. You're just going to wish this was Nami. So all in all, I think the meta that we're going to honestly be going into is going to be very, yellow favored. That's why I think that Law still has a chance, just because it's not going to be as consistent, but it's still going to have a favorable matchup into Katakuri just with the amount of blockers you're going to run. And nothing actually changed with your, your top end. Top end, you can still run. Bonnie still searches you all these cards. I think what's really going to hurt is the early to mid game. So being able to, go second, drop the Don, grab a Nami next turn, play Nami, grab a Chopper, and those sorts of play, that's going to slow down a lot. But I think that's where, you can kind of fill in these cards where you're going to be able to kind of do something similar, obviously not to the same extent. But in general, guys, this is just a couple theories that I have moving forward with this deck. If you guys have any suggestions for this deck, please leave them in the comments below, especially if you enjoyed the Law decks like I do as well. And I just kind of wanted to drop this deck profile anyways, and unfortunately the ban list came out, so, definitely, put a wrench in those plans. But that was it for me, guys. Fire Fist Chris, signing out. Peace.